If you're thinking about a career as an online ESL teacher, you might be questioning whether you have the right skill set and the right qualifications. Well, I want to reassure you for a second. Being an online ESL teacher does not mean you have to have teaching experience or be a qualified teacher. Surprise! So this video is going to go through exactly who could teach online and who it might not be for. You might be surprised at where you actually fit in. From the OET, I help people, especially mums, start and succeed with an online ESL teaching career that they can do around their families. Today we're going to talk about whether teaching ESL online is something that you could actually do. So you might not be a certified teacher, and that's okay. Most people actually start teaching ESL online who don't come from a teaching background. Teaching ESL is more about communication skills versus your teaching qualification. It's a little bit different to teaching in a traditional classroom format. There's a lot of other things that come into play that companies look for with teaching ESL online. So what are the basic requirements then that companies are wanting? Well, first and foremost, ESL, English as a second language, you kind of need to be able to speak English in order to teach it. So companies are looking for fluent English speakers. That could be specifically native English speakers. So you're looking at England or the UK, I should say, America, Canada, Ireland, New Zealand, Australia. These are some of the countries that they would classify as native English speakers. But there are also positions for other countries that have native English speakers or non-native English speakers. So you have South Africa, for example, the Philippines. There's lots and lots of companies that are hiring teachers from the Philippines and elsewhere around the world. So as long as you have the English level proficient enough from around C1, C2, surfer level, it does vary on the company, then you're good to go. You also need to be able to speak on camera. There are some companies that are audio only, but it's very few and far between. If you refuse to teach via a camera, then your job opportunities are much more limited and your pay is limited as well. So I would recommend practicing, spending some time in front of the camera, practicing communicating via the camera and becoming more comfortable, because that's going to open up your income potential and your job opportunities as well. Next, we want a reliable internet connection. You can't teach online if you're not online. So we need that reliable internet connection, and a lot of companies don't like you to rely on Wi-Fi. They prefer you to have what's called an Ethernet cable, which is just a cable that runs from your computer to your Wi-Fi, your internet box, and it just provides that stronger connection point. They also need a quiet space so that you're not going to have interruptions or distractions when your attention is meant to be on your students. And they do need you to have a device that is updated enough and modern enough that their systems and platforms are going to run smoothly and not going to be jarred and slow connection. Some platforms do require you to have a degree, but not all. So whether you have a degree or not will depend on which companies you can apply to. And then finally, a lot of companies do ask for a minimum TEFL qualification. When they ask for this, it's an 120-hour qualification, not the small 40, 60, 80 hours. 120-hour qualification of a TEFL or TESOL minimum. But there are companies that don't require this or provide the option that you can complete your TEFL qualification through the company themselves. It's very few and far between though, so make sure that you do read about that in the application process before you spend time applying. So requirements can vary, which is why as a beginner looking into the industry it can be confusing, but basically check what you have and then apply for the companies that are in line with what you already have. Or if you're willing to go and get a TEFL TESOL qualification, that does open up more job opportunities out there for you. So that could be something that would be quite good for you to go and have a look at. Now, who are the people that are actually teaching ESL online? Well, there isn't really a one type of person that teaches online. It is a career that is suitable for thousands and thousands of people from different walks of life, different industries, different career backgrounds. And this is just a very short list to give you an idea of maybe you fit into one of these, or so that you can see that teaching ESL online can be for anyone. So it could be for people like me, parents who are wanting a flexible income that works around their family commitments. That's why I started teaching ESL online. I had 2 under 2 at home, and I didn't want to leave them in a nursery, 9 to 5 every day. I had my teaching qualification and I wanted to do something with that. And I just happened to stumble upon teaching ESL online. And that was in 2017, and I haven't looked back since. I absolutely love what this has provided me and my family, and the opportunities then that I've then been able to grow the OET, my own business, within the ESL industry. So it was a really amazing timing and opportunity for me. So for parents, it could be the same for you too. Maybe you're a digital nomad and you're looking for that extra income base to help support your travels. So many teachers are traveling teachers. All you need is your digital setup, and you can put that in your backpack and away you go. And you can teach as long as you have internet from anywhere in the world, which is amazing. It could be for college students or recent graduates who maybe you're struggling to find a traditional job and you want a bit of a steady income. Then teaching online could be for you. It could be for people who are in their 40s and they're looking for something new to do. Maybe you want a different career path now. This is for you as well. And then of course, for traditional teachers who are looking to maybe cut back on their hours, but they don't want to cut their income. Maybe for teachers who want to actually leave the traditional teaching job, because I know my hat goes off to you. It is such a hard job teaching in a traditional setting. Maybe you're tired of that now and you're looking for a way to still use your skills. You want to connect with students. Teaching ESL could be for you. And for tutors as well. Perhaps you're tutoring online already and you just want that secondary income base to rely on. So there's not a one type of person that belongs in teaching ESL online. It's not just for teachers, it's for anyone. If you are willing to put in the time and effort to grow and improve your skill sets, you love to help other people learn something new, then it's a great career choice for you. Now, let's just flip that over on its head. Who might it not be for then? Well, it might not be for you if you don't like people. I know you're out there. I know there's a lot of people who just don't like people. And that's okay. That's fine. But ESL might not be for you then. It might be that you're in a situation where you need immediate income right now. And that's not a slow, steady build-up income. That's I need a full-time wage now situation. ESL is definitely not for you. You are not going to have a full-time income in month 1. You're looking at several months down the line. It's a very part-time, slow build-up to building that income. And a lot of entry positions are on the lower rate. You're looking at like $10 to $15 maybe for a native English speaker as an entry point job. Even lower if you're a non-native English speaker. And I know that really sucks. That's something I hate about the industry, is the pay discrepancy. It's not fair. Unfortunately, I can't control that, and it's just a fact. And a lot of us teachers feel very strongly about that. But so if you're looking for something that's really reliable and stable and full-time straight away, this is not the industry for you. It takes time to build that up. And then maybe you don't want structure, so fixed hours. If you have a booking with a company at Monday at 9 o'clock, that you are expected to show up every Monday at 9 o'clock. That's your student now. So if you don't like fixed hours or that consistent schedule, then it might not be for you either. There are companies where you can open and close hours, so you manage your own schedule as and when you want to, and you won't see the same students all the time. It'll vary. You'll just teach whoever is available during that slot. So one week you might open Monday at 9, the next week you might open Tuesday at 11, and so on and so forth. So you won't have a regular student base that you can build up a rapport with. But some companies do offer that flexibility. So that could be still a fit for you, but across the board, most companies want teachers to see the same students week in, week out, because there's a higher chance that the student will then stay with the company because they've built that relationship with the teacher. Let's just talk about skills versus qualifications. Skills are actually more important than the qualifications you bring to the table. As we mentioned at the beginning of this session, you don't have to come from a teaching background in order to teach ESL online. Shocking. So that means that if you have a degree, it doesn't have to be in education at all. So that's what I mean by qualifications don't matter as much as skills. If the company's asking for a degree, you need to have a degree. Like that, there's a non-negotiable there. But in terms of what that degree is in, it could be anything. What's most important is the skill set that you bring to the company. So making sure that you are a patient person, it takes time to teach somebody something new. And English is not an easy language. So you need patience because you're probably going to be teaching the same thing in different ways over and over and over again with one student, let alone if you have 10 students. So you definitely need patience. Clear communication, you need to be able to enunciate, pronounce. Students need to be able to watch your mouth with how they have to make those movements for the letters. They need to be able to hear you clearly. So communication is really important, not just in terms of your student being able to see and hear you, but also the way you communicate, the language that you use. Make sure that it's easy and the appropriate level for your students to understand you. If you are teaching somebody something new, you need to offer encouragement, praise, rewards, particularly to children. Children will lose interest and get bored very, very quickly if they're finding something difficult. You'll completely lose them in the class. And it's very hard once you've lost their attention to get that back. So it's really important to have things in place that keeps them motivated to focus on you, that tiny, tiny picture on their screen versus everything else that's in their house environment, or sometimes the restaurant, wherever it may be that they are taking your class. So you need to have things in place that helps keep their attention on you at all times. So things like rewards, games, different props and visuals that keep their attention on the screen. So there's different ways to motivate your students to participate in class. So that's something that also takes time and a skill that you will learn over time. So you'll develop that as you teach more and more students. So the main thing is your attitude. Do you have I'm not doing that. There's no way you're going to get me to that kind of attitude. Teaching is probably not for you. Or are you more of a, oh, okay, I see what you mean there. Yeah, I'll give that a go. Or what about this? Let's try that and see if this works. Then teaching is definitely for you. So you have to be willing to think outside the box. Try and adapt to different things, different teaching styles. Your students are not a fit in one box kind of, person. It's not like that at all. Your students will all have different ways of learning, and we need to adapt our teaching style to suit our students, not the other way around. So if you have that kind of attitude where you're willing to try different things and adapt to your students, brilliant. Then ESL teaching is definitely a great career path for you to choose. So if you're very, very beginner to teaching, how can you feel qualified enough in order to start applying for your first job? Well, first steps are things that you can do right now at home. You don't have to wait for that first job to come through. You can learn basic terminology. So in ESL, we have things like TPR, which is total physical response. And that's how we use gestures, our hand movements, our facial expressions that accompany the words that we use to teach our students. So if I'm saying listen to my students and they've never heard this word before, they're going to have no context clues as to what that means. Whereas if I say listen and I take my hand and I cup it around my ear and I tilt my head towards the screen, as I say listen, the students are going to pick up on that connection with the word listen on my ear. So things like that, TPR, is terminology that's going to really help you out when you get started with your first job. Practice explaining things. So record yourself on Zoom or Loom or whatever software you want to use. Practice explaining different concepts via video and then watch yourself back. Are you looking at the screen? Are your hand movements and gestures in camera focus? Are you explaining yourself clearly? Are you pronouncing clearly and accurately so that it's easy to understand? Is your mic picking up everything that it should be? So these are really good things that you can practice, particularly before a demo lesson where you need to show your best skills within a very small amount of, like 10 minutes amount of time. Then familiarize yourself with digital technology. I know that some of us use technology every single day, so we're very comfortable with it, but other people don't. They might be coming from a physical job or more of a caring job, so maybe you haven't been using technology every day. So it could be that extra learning step that's stopping you from going for your first job. So just spend some time every single day using your devices, finding your way around Zoom, because that's often what a company will use for their interview and demo class. And it's really good for you to use like the drawing tools and things in Zoom during your session, because it shows your skill sets more with the interviewer. So use different technology, feel more familiar and comfortable. That's taking away a level of nervousness when it comes to your demo class. And most importantly, remember that it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to be prepared. When you're prepared, things kind of fall into place and less things are likely to go wrong. And the more comfortable you will feel when it comes to that first teaching class. So make sure that you spend time just preparing yourself with the technology, with the skills, understanding the industry expectations. Watch some videos that help you pick up what's expected or what other teachers do in their lessons, and you'll pick up quite a lot of top tips along the way. Now, if you're still thinking, yeah, this is for me, I definitely want to go into this industry, then I might have something for you. In my free membership, the Mini ESL Teacher Toolkit, I have a PDF guide on teaching ESL for beginners. And that includes the skill sets that you need in order to teach ESL online, along with lots of other tips and information about the industry, where to find jobs, and I even have a job board spreadsheet within that membership as well to help you get started. So make sure you take a look and join. I'll leave the link below. So more people can actually teach ESL online than they realize, and it could be you. You don't need to be a traditional teacher in order to teach online. If you are clear with your communication, you're encouraging, and you show up with a willingness to learn, then you've definitely got this, and you could be an online ESL teacher. I hope you found this session helpful.